Welcome to Energetic Life Center. I'm so glad you found me and I look very forward to meeting you in person. If you're watching this video, you probably have a chronic illness and are searching for answers. Well, we have a few for you in this video. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Dr. Jeff Haskel, and I'm a chiropractic physician and I've been in practice since 1997. I'm also a certified nutritional specialist and I hold a PhD in holistic nutrition. I'm 55 years old now, and I'm in the best health of my adult life. I love cycling, and I'm out on the road every chance I get. And I cycle about 90 miles per week, and I participate in long-distance endurance rides. You'd never guess just how sick I was several years ago, which is why I know where you are and how you feel. When I was 29 years old, I suffered from severe chronic fatigue syndrome. Every morning, I'd awaken with the fear of how I would get enough energy to work. I was depressed, hopeless, and I felt like I was swimming upstream. I worked as a salesman as it was the only job I could possibly have, and as I had to come home and lay down every few hours before I could pull myself up to work. I was afraid to make plans with people because I didn't know if I'd have the energy to even go. I found myself taking stimulants of any type just to get going. It was an absolute nightmare. I was left hopeless by medical doctors. I went searching for my own answers. I went to my family doctor who did blood tests and told me that they were fine, other than that I had high cholesterol, and he was really worried about it. High cholesterol, I said, that can't be making me feel this way. He said he thought that I was depressed and it was in my head and I should get some psychiatric help. So basically I lived in this survival mode for months until a disc injury brought me to a chiropractor who not only helped my back recover, but also taught me about eating whole foods, stress reduction, and taking digestive enzymes while he helped improve my brain function with gentle adjusting techniques. Day by day, I got stronger, and within 2 months was able to add light exercise back in. It took almost a year, but I was able to restore my health. I not only found the solution that restored my health, but it also propelled me into a lifetime commitment to helping others suffering from chronic health conditions, which included becoming a chiropractic physician and completing a PhD in holistic nutrition. Last year, after completing 1,000 hours of clinical supervision under a holistic medical doctor and passing a very challenging test, I became a certified nutritional specialist. I developed the approach to healing I'm about to share with you through my path of recovery, my commitment to ongoing education, and the results I've seen with patients in over 18 years of practice. In this video, I'll tell you about my approach so we can make sure that we're a great fit. Now, in today's unfortunate legal environment, I have to make a statement that I'm not here to tell you I'm going to cure any disease that you have. However, we are going to talk about how to help to support your body to recover from chronic conditions. I am not a medical doctor and do not practice conventional medicine. I cannot by law give you advice on your prescriptive medicines, but I can tell you that many of my patients have been able to reduce or eliminate their medications. If you're watching this video, you're probably like my patients who fall into two groups. The first is that you've been diagnosed with a disease. It could be a disease like fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or other thyroid disease, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, hormonal imbalance, chronic fatigue syndrome like I was, multiple chemical sensitivities, Lyme's disease, mold sensitivity, arthritis, and others. At the very best, you found ways to manage, but you're still putting up with a lot, and your life is still limited greatly by your condition. The second group of my patients fall into the category where you've had blood work done and it comes back mostly normal, so no one can figure out why you're exhausted, you have brain fog, horrible digestive issues like diarrhea and constipation, skin problems, hair loss, depression, and other debilitating symptoms. In either group, you've probably tried everything: prescription drugs, vitamins, and other supplements, going gluten-free or some other diet. You've seen MDs, possibly mental health counselors, and other alternative practitioners like acupuncturists, herbalists, chiropractors, or homeopaths. There are distinct reasons why these things you have tried haven't worked for you, And when I describe my approach, you'll see how my process would make a difference in your recovery. But know this, there is hope for you. When you support your body correctly and allow it to heal, you get to reimagine your whole life. You'll have a chance to fulfill your purpose and experience the joy in life, not being held back by exhaustion, pain, and misery. I know you're up to great things in life because you've been on this journey and you haven't given up yet. I have such great joy watching my patients return to their careers and be there for their families. With that being said, I promised I'd show you how we do it here at ELC and how it's unique and how we help to bring hope to the frustrated and hopeless. There are specific areas that are overlooked or dealt with differently by both conventional and alternative practitioners, and they make all the difference in the world in your body's ability to be able to recover from chronic conditions. I look at working with patients as a three-pronged approach, and each prong has a testing side and a treatment side. The three-pronged approach supports the amazing healing intelligence that God put in your body to support recovery from chronic health conditions. The three-pronged approach consists of biochemistry, which is comprised of blood labs and other lab testing you're most likely have done and been somewhat familiar with. The second is brain-based therapy, which I'll explain is usually completely ignored in most chronic recovery treatment plans. And the third is toxicology, which is a groundbreaking way of addressing food and inhalant allergens, as well as toxins and unfriendly microbes found in the body. The first prong, as we said, is called biochemistry. The testing side of biochemistry includes more of the traditional tests as you've been exposed to. And these will include blood work and urinalysis. And the difference is I order some specific additional tests that many of your doctors probably never even thought of, and they could give us some key critical information about your health. Then we also take a look at any blood work that you've had done, and rather taking a look at them at lab values, which include large populations of very unhealthy, sick people, we use optimal ranges that have been developed through science, and we make sure that you're falling within those categories. And if not, we want to make sure that we support your body to do that. And that's why in many cases, your blood work looks like you're okay, but you still feel terrible. Let me give you an example. I had a 40-year-old patient named Becca that came in. She was depressed, she put on weight, she was fatigued, her hair was coming out, her eyebrows were losing on the 1/3 of her eyebrow was gone on one side, and she had dry skin, and she just felt horrible. Her doctor had run a thyroid panel, which came out normal, and she told me her symptoms, and I really knew she needed to have some additional testing done. So I ordered thyroid antibodies, and they came back as the highest values I've ever seen. And many conventional doctors typically run only one test for thyroid hormone, and it's called thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. The test that I ran on her showed her that she had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and that's a diagnosis that was able for me to be able to give her some hope. It's an autoimmune disease, but there's some very specific actions that could take place. And if you make some dietary changes, some supplement support, and other recommendations I made to her, within a couple of months, she's a new person and she's still healing. And it was just an amazing, amazing thing to watch. Now, blood work, along with diagnostic imaging like MRIs, they're really the only area of focus for traditional MDs who prescribe medicine or recommend surgeries to try to improve these tests or diseases. As most of you who are watching this video know, that approach doesn't work well for people who have chronic health conditions. It also doesn't tell the whole story. We do more testing than just blood work. We do really an amazing genetic test, and we also do saliva hormone panels that shed further light on your condition that just will tell us things that blood work will not uncover. The genetic testing I just talked about showed us where your genetics may be affecting your health. In the past decade, science have mapped the human genome, which has made incredible information available to us about our genetics that was never available to us before. Now we know about specific mutations, for example, the MTHFR mutation, which some of you may have already heard of, but which is only a small piece of the puzzle. All these different genes that we're going to be taking a look at, they could affect your thyroid function, your sex hormones, your neurotransmitters, the way we detoxify, the way tissues are formed and repaired. Virtually almost every metabolic function in your body could be impacted by your genetic makeup. Now, if these genetic problems are running in the background, they could interfere with any treatment, and they may be the reason why you're not feeling better. We could do some things to compensate for any genetic mutations that we find, so that way, with using good detoxification and nutritional support, we could keep your genetic potential from causing a problem, and in many cases, the results can be miraculous. Saliva hormone tests are optimal for finding your levels of free hormone, which is what's available for your cells to use. In the blood hormone testing, which is most often done when you go to a conventional doctor, what they're testing for are bound hormones. So your blood work just won't tell you if you have the right amount of hormones for your thyroid or for your sex organs. As a matter of fact, the last patient that I was telling you about, she had kind of plateaued in her care, and we did genetic testing on her, and we found out that she had some key genetic defects that were affecting thyroid function and detoxification. We gave her a supplement, and the next day I get a call from her, and she says, "Dr. H, I don't know what you gave me yesterday, but I think I'm starting to understand what normal people feel like." And it was such an awesome thing to see. So getting these genetic testing could make a huge, huge difference in your case. Now, other type of testing that we do is saliva hormone tests. And these are optimal for finding the level of your free hormones, which is what's available for your cells to be able to actually use. When you test with the blood, the hormones are bound, and so that if you want to check to see if you do have the right amount of hormones for your body, we really need to do the saliva panels to find out what type of levels you have. There's one big difference between when you're testing thyroid hormone, which is where you do need to do blood testing, as opposed to sex organ hormone, which are steroid-based hormones. That's where you have to do the saliva panels, and that's where we really shine and are able to get some great, great information for you. Because really, hormones have a huge impact on your energy, libido, and mood. And if you have hot flashes, dry skin, and hair loss, you may need to look at your hormones. When I was growing up, you didn't hear too much about women going through menopause. We knew it was happening. Somebody would have the vapors or a hot flash, but they got through it, and then life went on. But today, it just seems to go on and have all these horrific, challenging things that women deal with. And really, we want to make sure that we're able to help you with that. Now, one of the big things people do to address it is using natural bioidentical hormone therapy. And I'm not here to put it down, as I use non-prescriptive identical hormone supplementation when the thyroid or ovaries or testes are so weak that they need some time to rest just to have sufficient time to recover. The truth is, it all comes from something called a wild yam, and that's when you hear bioidentical hormones, they're saying that it's the same as yours. It's not. It came from a vegetable, and there's just no way, whether the chemical makeup is similar, that it's the exact same thing as the hormones that you're producing. Obviously, we want to get you to produce what comes from your body. That's the perfect hormone. So we have to ask the question in every case, why is your body not creating the perfect mix of hormones? The problem could be with the function of your brain, your liver, your ovaries. It all has to be working correctly for your hormonal system to be working optimally. One of the key areas involved in that is how you're eating and the amount of toxic load that you're carrying. We'll be zeroing in on what causes your imbalance and support the body's natural production of hormones with the appropriate nutrients and detoxification. And that's a long-term solution rather than loading you up with hormones. And I recently received an email from a patient telling me that her hair loss had stopped after we addressed her hormonal problems. She was so grateful. When she came in, she was so petrified of having a bald spot, and her hair was one of her, she just loved the fact that she had beautiful hair, and she just was so depressed about it. I was so happy for her. It was absolutely awesome. And yesterday, while doing a treatment, I had a patient tell me, she just looked up and she goes, you know, Dr. Haskel, those weekly migraines I've been having, you know, they're just gone. And I had them for over 20 years. And it's just amazing not to have them. And really, they were coming due to abnormal hormonal balance in her body, along with some other key issues which he addressed in her care. And, you know, that's why I do this. I absolutely love being able to help, you know, long-time suffering people who've lost their hope. Now, on the treatment side for biochemistry, I include an approach similar to other integrative medicine doctors using supplements, herbs, and dietary recommendations. However, the truly holistic approach I use minimizes the need for supplements to just a few key items focusing on digestive support, probiotics, vitamins, and minerals. One thing I promise you is you will never get a shopping bag full of supplements from me. I had a patient come in the other day. She was taking over 50 pills a day. 50. She felt horrible, but she was completely convinced that if she stopped taking them, that she would regress. Well, thank God we were able to do some of the testing that I do here called bioresonance testing on her, and which I'll be explaining more about to you shortly. And we were able to find out which ones were helping her and which ones were causing her body even more stress. So it made, you know, we don't want you taking that many different things. We want to give you the key items that are going to be able to help you. Now, for your situation, have your blood labs come back normal, but you still feel lousy? It's very possible that your lab results were not interpreted correctly, or that the proper lab work was not ordered, resulting in frustrating and hopeless situation you find yourself in. The way we look at biochemistry is the first area that's unique about my process. Most of my patients find that this area has been overlooked by their practitioners, but there are 2 more to go. The second prong, called brain-based therapy, or BBT, looks at health from a neurologic standpoint. BBT focuses on naturally supporting the body to recover from behavioral, neurological, and developmental problems, as well as brain-based disorders. I do a really innovative neurologic examination to assess where you have functional weaknesses in the brain, and they really could be affecting your health. The truth is, healing of chronic conditions could not take place without a proper functioning brain and nervous system. You see, there are 2 sides of the brain that contain several lobes which control every function in your whole body. It's been proven scientifically that due to the accumulation of physical, emotional, and chemical stress, we develop functional imbalances within these different lobes. These imbalances create all sorts of problems neurologically, which could affect the function of key organs and hormones, as well as your memory, balance, coordination, learning, attention, and focus. So if your brain is sending poor signals to, let's say, your thyroid gland, causing it to make insufficient thyroid hormone, does that mean your body has a thyroid medication deficiency? Of course not. That is true with any organ or tissue in your body, because the brain controls everything. Doesn't it make sense to ensure that the brain is properly communicating with your organs? Of course it does. Restoring proper communication between the brain and the body is a key area that is overlooked by so many healthcare practitioners. Even in the chiropractic world, there are only a small percentage of chiropractors trained in neurologic healing techniques. It was an integral part of my own recovery from chronic fatigue, and it has made a huge impact on my patients' recovery. So I made it a point to learn and use BBT in my own practice. Once the neurologic examination determines the area of the brain we need to focus on, I could help rehab that area into a better state of health. We do this through gentle brain balancing techniques and exercises that support the proper communication between the brain and your body. Our patients see outstanding results in their mental focus, balance, mobility, pain reduction, and energy. The third prong is the toxicology side, and this is what makes our approach so powerful. Toxicology is the testing and treatment for the presence of allergens, toxins, and unfriendly microbes, and it's my favorite area by far of focus, as it has such a profound effect on helping my patients. Very few patients have experienced effective toxicology testing or treatment before they come to our practice. So this is an area where the Energetic Life Center shines. So here's the hard truth. I think it's something you all already know, but we live in a toxic soup. Toxins such as mercury, pesticides, pharmaceutical drug residues, viruses, bacteria, and parasites, they all interfere with normal cell communication and function. This breakdown of cellular communication is the ultimate cause of chronic conditions like yours. What we have found is that these toxins put such a tremendous stress on your immune system that you begin to start reacting to normal things such as foods and pollens. Allergies are abnormal immune system responses to things that shouldn't bother you at all. No one could recover well when allergies are overwhelming your immune system. It just can't happen. So before we start addressing toxins and microbes, we have to support the immune system against the effects of allergens. We do this with AET, which stands for Allergen Elimination Technique, and I'll talk about it more shortly. It's really amazing stuff. Once we support the immune system with AET, we need to address the ultimate cause of your problem, which are toxins. There are some methods of testing for toxins that some of you might be familiar with, like hair, urine, stool, and blood tests. However, the problem with these testing methods is when you get a toxin such as mercury or pesticides, the first rule of the body is, I got to get this out of here. So you're going to sweat it out, pee it out, poop it out, or breathe it out. The body's going to do anything it can to get rid of it. So really, a patient should be more concerned if a hair sample or a urine sample doesn't contain a toxin, because all of us are exposed to them, and a healthier body will be excreting them. God forbid you do one and nothing comes out. It means it's sitting in there and your body can't even get it out, and that's a big problem. So the big issue here is if elimination of the toxins isn't working well, and in chronic health issues it doesn't, your body has to go to its backup system to store toxins. You see, the intelligence of your body is not going to keep the toxin in the blood for a very long time because it'll have such devastating effects. If too many toxins stay in the blood, basically it's lights out. So the body has all these cool ways of removing the toxins from the blood, and one of the main ways is to store them in fat. Fat doesn't have any key body functions like your heart, liver, or brain tissue. Fat is there for insulation, protection, and shock absorption. So the intelligence of the body will store the toxins in fat to protect other tissues from being damaged. Isn't that just absolutely amazing? What incredible intelligence our body has. Unfortunately, though, it's only a short-term fix. The more exposure there is and the longer the toxins stay there, the more likely they are to migrate into other key tissues like your heart, liver, or brain and wreak havoc. Since the toxins and microbes have been driven deeper into the body, how are you going to find out where they are and find them? Basically, nobody's going to line up for a whole body biopsy. So in order to support the body to recover from chronic conditions like yours, we must be able to identify the toxins, confirm their location, and effectively treat your body to help eliminate them. We must eliminate these toxins or your body could never recover, regardless of whatever medications or supplements you take. Unfortunately, many conventional doctors don't even consider toxins a priority in treatment, and the only ways even some alternative practitioners have found to eliminate toxins is through chelation. Chelation uses a chemical to grab up the toxins indiscriminately in the body. You might have already experienced this and found yourself flat on your back because it just overwhelms the body to detox that fast. Chelation is so hard on the body and it could have severe side effects. So now that I've explained the importance of supporting the immune system from the effects of allergens and the devastating consequences of toxins and microbes, we want to take a look at how we address them in our office. Here at Energetic Life Center, we use a gentle method backed by hard science and Nobel Prize-winning physicists to address the effect of the body of food and environmental allergens, as well as identify, locate, and eliminate toxins. The name of this particular approach is bioresonance testing. Now, bioresonance testing is an amazingly effective way of finding allergens and toxins and supporting the body to safely get rid of them. Remember, we must eliminate these allergens and toxins or your body could never recover regardless of what medications or supplements you take. Again, allergens are caused by certain foods, dust, pollen, and others, where stored toxins include things like pesticides, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and heavy metals such as lead or mercury, and unfortunately, we're exposed to them every day. To understand bioresonance testing, we have to first understand how cells communicate with each other to perform their functions. And also, before I get started, I just want to let you know that this is not easy stuff to understand. It was something that was very, very challenging for me to learn, but this is true science, and it's exactly how it works, and we're going to do our 100% best to explain that to you. So whenever your body needs to get anything done, it does so by transferring oxygen, hormones, and enzymes. This is the biochemical side of the cell's communication. However, scientists have proven that biochemistry is not the only way that the cells of the body communicate with each other. In fact, numerous scientists, building upon the work of Albert Einstein, have proved that our cells communicate through an energy matrix or frequencies that control the biochemical reaction in your cells. You've heard the word energy before, but what does that mean? Kind of sounds a little woo-woo, but it's absolutely not. There is a clear, defined science behind it, and it's called quantum physics. I have a very strong scientific background, so I know that this is a big leap for a lot of people. It really was for me. But it is science-based, it's very effective, it's changed my life and the life of my patients, and I sure as heck wouldn't practice without it, because I know how much it will help you practicing with it, and I'd never be able to help you to the degree that I can if I practiced without it. And as a matter of fact, I remember the first time I did an AET, or an allergen elimination treatment, I treated myself for a category of allergens called amino acids. Amino acids are building blocks for protein foods like fish, beef, and poultry, as well as the basic building blocks for brain chemicals and hormones. Within a few hours after doing the treatment, my mental focus increased and my brain calmed down. The next day, my elimination improved, and the pain that I have in my hand, being a chiropractor and using my hands so much they were really bothering me, had decreased almost 90%. It was not a short-term effect. I've seen a lasting difference, and it's awesome. And as I said before, physicists have proven there's an energy matrix that controls the biochemical side of your cellular communication. So if you're only doing testing and treatment on the biochemistry side, like blood work, urinalysis, hair samples, or biopsies, you're missing half the equation. That's why we see patients all the time that have had all the blood work and other conventional tests done, have been told that the results are mostly normal, but they still feel crappy. The health of the frequencies of their cells has not been analyzed. Science has identified the frequencies associated with whole body energetic communication, and they 100% control your cell's biochemistry. A little complicated? Yes. But is it a scientific fact? Absolutely. The brilliant Nobel Prize winning physicist, Dr. Fritz Albert Popp, proved the existence of energetic cellular communication by identifying the presence of biophotons. Biophotons are light waves that carry communication between the cells. The only reason you don't hear anything about them in medicine is that they can't put a light wave into a pill and sell it. Drugs only affect biochemistry, which is only half the equation and not the most powerful influence on your cells, as you'll see. Our actual cells actually have frequencies, and these frequencies interact with each other, sharing key communication about cellular function. For example, we're all very familiar with EKG, and really all an EKG is a report that tells you about the frequency of the heart. Actually, every organ in your body has a different frequency, just like the heart does. Dr. Popp's research has established what the frequency is of a healthy cell. Without this proper frequency, the cells cannot communicate with each other properly, and their functional breakdown, and what we'll end up seeing it as the result is a chronic disease. In fact, science has shown that a cancer cell has little to no frequency left so that it can't properly communicate with other cells. If you think about what cancer is, it's a renegade cell. It's actually out there doing its own thing, not communicating with other cells. It's out of control, and the results are devastating. So while cells could communicate through chemistries, we now understand that cellular chemistry is controlled by this energy. When cells need to communicate, they need the energy side to tell the chemistry side what to do, not the other way around. Blood work is the most common way medical doctors test your body's biochemical communication. When problems are found in the blood work, such as high cholesterol or elevated blood sugar, the most common approach is for them to prescribe medication. Some patients also seek help with more enlightened practitioners who offer supplementation and dietary recommendations. However, this will never tell you why the test results are abnormal or why your body is expressing a disease. So true healing could never take place. We have to get information from the biophotonic energy system that is controlling your cells. It is absolutely key to do this because one of the unique things about the energy language of the body is that it's about 100 times more efficient than the chemistry language. We could use blood work to eavesdrop into the chemistry language, but how do we eavesdrop into the energy language of cells? We do that with an amazing technology called bioresonance testing. Bioresonance testing technology was developed in the 1950s by a German medical doctor named Dr. Reinhard Voll. Since then, practitioners have used the technology on millions of patients in Europe with great results. The most recent incarnation is the computerized Zyto machine. It is able to detect changes in patients' stress levels in response to different frequencies representing human cells, glands, and organs, as well as allergens, toxins, and microbes. Bioresonance testing is based on galvanic skin stress response, and that's the same exact technology as the lie detector test. What's even more interesting is a study that was performed on over 200 patients at one of the largest hospitals in Beijing, China, found that bioresonance testing findings correlated 87% with the diagnosis found by their doctors using both Eastern and Western diagnostic techniques. Computerized bioresonance testing is further enhanced by a fantastic technique called field-controlled therapy, which we call FCT. FCT is a system that was developed by a board-certified cardiologist named Dr. Savelli Yurkovsky, who currently has a thriving practice in White Plains, New York, which I've had the pleasure to spend a week working with him, and it's just an absolutely amazing place. Dr. Yurkovsky had to jump out of the box of conventional medicine when his son became desperately ill with a life-threatening condition. His son was not getting better through conventional means, so he turned to alternative treatments to save him. He studied quantum effects of cellular communication with some of the most brilliant physicists in the world, including the Professor Emeritus William A. Tiller of Stanford University, as well as Dr. Pop himself, who we talked about earlier. From this, he developed a system of manual bioresonance testing, which he called field control therapy, or FCT. He saved his son's life and in the process created a system of healthcare for chronic conditions like yours that has helped thousands to recover. I'm one of the small group of physicians that has been trained in his system, and what it uses is a different but remarkable mode of analysis and treatment. It is the future of medicine, and you can participate in it now to help regain your health. I will cover allergy elimination technique and FCT, the two bioresonance testing and treatment protocols, in more detail in upcoming videos. Now we'll cover what you could expect when you come to work with us at Energetic Life Center. Your first visit will be a 1-hour consultation where we'll thoroughly review your case and make sure we're a good fit. Then we'll determine the direction you'll take. You'll fill out an extensive health history form before your appointment. At your first appointment, I spend a lot of time reviewing the health history in great detail. We'll determine the best testing, which usually includes blood work, genetic testing, and sometimes hormone panels. With respect to the labs, there are optimal values we're looking for in your blood work versus the lab ranges you're familiar with. The lab ranges are averages including sick people and often vary per lab. This is one big reason your labs come back normal, but you still feel lousy. We also run different blood tests that shed light on your condition that most practitioners do not run. Other practitioners usually do not order genetic tests. The genetic test we run is a simple saliva test and will let us know if your genetics are affecting your health. When genetic mutations remain undiscovered, we can't compensate for them. Also, many people have tremendous issues with hormonal imbalance, whether it's adrenal or female or male hormones. Hormonal imbalance can make your life miserable, but a simple saliva test will let us know if you need to do some work there. Thirdly, we'll do a thorough neurologic exam with brain-based therapy, which I talked about earlier as being one of the unique three prongs of what we do here at ELC. Basically, when we put these together in the combination of all three things, that's really when we see the magic happen. You can't reach your healing potential if there are functional imbalances in your brain. Your brain controls every function in your whole body. Then we'll introduce the 2-week diet makeover plan, which decreases inflammation, gives you energy, helps you lose weight if you want to, and introduces you to a way of eating that fits your life without dieting or restriction. There is a separate video on my website describing it. Also, we'll do your first computerized bioresonance scan, which tests broad categories of common food and environmental allergens, as well as toxins and microbe categories, for example, mercury or pesticides or viruses, to see if you're sensitive to them so that we could create a protocol to address them during your treatment. And finally, we'll give you some basic supplements to help you get started. On the first visit, you could expect to spend an hour and a half with me for the complete consultation. Then on the second visit, at this time, your blood work should be back in, and we'll see what your biochemistry is telling us. We'll also conduct some additional bioresonance testing, which will tell us even more. At this appointment, we'll review your blood work, we'll perform your first allergen elimination technique treatment to give you an idea of bioresonance testing. We always do proteins first because they are the building blocks of your tissues, brain chemicals, and hormones, and they can make a great impact. As I said earlier, I hit a home run with that category for myself, and so have many others. I will also give you your individualized regimen for your specific path to recovery based upon all the testing that we do. And we'll be focusing on some additional dietary support and recommendations. We'll be giving you lifestyle ideas and things to help you set up to win in your household. And we'll also talk about electromagnetic field stress and how to be safer in the toxic soup we live in. Believe it or not, the phone you're carrying can make you a heck of a lot sicker, and we see that all the time. You could expect this second consultation to last 1.5 hours. So let's discuss what to expect if you decide to go ahead and follow the course of treatment that I recommend for you in our office. First, I want to start with there's an exit strategy. We are going to get you to a point where you're going to be able to do this on your own. Depending upon the severity of your case, your program may last 6 to 12 months. It initially is comprised of weekly neurologic exams with brain-based therapy treatments and regimen reviews with me, which take about 15 minutes. You also have a bioresonance allergy elimination treatment 1 to 3 times a week, depending upon your testing. There are over 40 categories of possible treatments, including grains, dairy, pollen, dust, and others. We'll also be doing monthly detoxification protocols for the toxins that we find doing our bioresonance treatments, for example, mercury, using FCT and other bioresonance testing. You also have, and this is really one of the most important things that really help us to be successful with you, is we're going to have monthly lifestyle support and nutrition help with our nutritional counselor, Mary Collins, who has a nutrition sciences degree, and will help you implement your dietary changes and lifestyle changes and making sure that you're winning. You know, we know how to do this, we've been through it, and we want to help you to be able to do that. Some key areas that you'll cover is how to set up your house to win for your nutrition. I'll talk about EMF strategies to protect you from damaging effects of them. Talking about the hidden toxins and hormone disruptors in your cosmetics and your home cleaners, and also how to make your home greener and safer. So this is an innovative approach to helping the body recover from chronic conditions, and it's not covered by insurance. Unfortunately, most of you have experienced what our insurance will pay for in chronic health care, and you probably wouldn't be listening to this video if it helped. You could expect to spend $250 to $300 per month for 18 months on your health for this program. It includes all treatments as well as the few supplements I will recommend. You will again never get a shopping bag full of supplements from me. Just the other day, I had a patient email me to thank me, and she had just returned from her son's graduation. When she started with me, she was so exhausted she could only leave the house to go to doctor's appointments. She had spent tens of thousands of dollars in the past trying to recover from her chronic fatigue with absolutely no success. When she first came to me, she broke down crying, telling me that her son was going to graduate this coming year and that she knew she would not be able to go to the graduation because of her sickness. Here is what the email said 1 year later. Hi, Dr. H. I hope all is well. First of all, I just wanted to let you know how great things went with my son's graduation. The day was perfect in every way, and I have you to thank for helping me feel so strong and able. After 5 years of worry, it couldn't have gone any better, and the entire family got along without any incident, which is amazing. So it just, you know, it's why I do this, to have that. It's just, you know, my complete reason to you know, want to just help others. And also her husband's a patient, and he came in and he hugged me and thanked me. And he said that his dream to travel with his wife after his son left for college was coming true. And you know, I just love that. So that's why I do this. And if what I've shared resonates with you and you feel we would be a good fit, please call our office at 407-647-2220 to set up an appointment. We have 4 time slots per week set aside for new patients, and they fill up quickly. If you could answer a question of what it was that I said when I was young, I rarely heard women complain about suffering from to the degree they do today, I'll give you a 50% discount off of my normal fee. And we want to make sure that we give you every opportunity to get in here, and so that we could see if we could help you. You could start your healing today. Again, call us at 407-647-2220 to schedule your appointment and download your paperwork from our website, www.theenergeticlife.com. Again, I know where you are. I've been there. I'll do everything in my power to help you. I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and thank you so much for taking this time for yourself to listen to what I have to say. Thanks, and God bless.